Hello and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Shariann.
So today we're going to be talking about a recent event that we had, our Earth and Essence event. And we had it at the beautiful Filoli Gardens. And it was just a nice, easy walkthrough. So we're going to talk about that and how it coincides with the work that we do. But first, we're going to start with Ash.
So physically, I am 3.85. I was off the charts. Emotionally, 4.25. Spirit, 4.4. Hope, 4.35. And my word is curious.
So my turn. Physically, I am a 4.2. Emotionally a 4.3, spiritually a 4.2, and hope is a 4.25, and my word is irregular.
Irregular?
Irregular.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's all.
So that's all. Earth and essence. And ooh, I actually like those few words because it conjures up something for me. But now that we had the event, it actually is grounded in that in nature. Truly, I mean, we got to see two parts of nature. There was a little forest walk that we got to go through, and then there was the gardens, well manicured, beautiful. Um, you had to go up to a rose. I think my favorite was the McClintock, and I took it, and it had this incredible smell, but it wasn't overwhelming. It was like when it's real, it doesn't have to smash you in the face. It's just like, here's my being. And it smelled so sweet and so lovely. It reminded me of the smell and the taste of lychee. And I love
Mhm.
that particular smell. So when I'm thinking about it now, as I close my eyes, it's like, wow, I can feel grounded, like letting that smell go down into my being and root me to Mother Earth. And what that's so yes, I'm describing this, but what that says to me is I'm connected and I'm a part of it all, but there's also a rhythm that I'm in that I don't necessarily have control of. It's a natural rhythm. My body has a natural rhythm. It is connected to the earth and everything that's connected to the earth. So we're all somehow working in synchronicity, and I
Yeah.
don't control that.
Yeah. I mean that is the reason why we decided to have this event be in this space, right? Because I actually think that Filoli's was such a great place for us because as one of our participants mentioned, like it is a very manicured space and it is still in nature. And I feel like it's a perfect intersection between how we can live harmoniously with this natural space and still celebrate these beautiful things that it brings and has that natural rhythm, and it creates a space that's really safe for everyone to really just explore and be integrated into. And so, one of the purposes for this event period was just to have all of our participants be able to get grounded, to reflect on their experience with cancer and where they're at on their journey right now, to really see where it lands with them and acknowledge what's here for them. A lot of times, cancer or not cancer journey actively, there is a lot of anxiety that's built up. There's a lot of separation from the space around you to the self. There's a lot of emotional turmoil, and this is a moment for everyone to really become whole and breathe. I mean, again, another one of our participants is saying, I'm just excited to like be around trees and nature. And like, there's so much urban heaviness around us sometimes that it can really disconnect us. And it creates a different energy that we're surrounded by. That kind of hustle, the kind of need to, even when you're home, right? It's hard to just be at home and like focus in on yourself. There's always something to do. So to be in this space really lets you release that and kind of come back to your roots in a very clear way. And so it got us really grounded and really appreciative and really just tuned in with ourselves and the space around us.
Yeah. So what I want to share is I started in the forest first. So there wasn't the well manicured part. I know most of the group went to the gardens first, but I decided I wanted to go to the forest where the trolls were, to be perfectly honest. I wanted to see the trolls, and I wanted to be with them and see what that was about. What I liked is there was dirt under my shoes, and it was not well manicured. I was on a trail. It was rocky. There were potholes. There were roots. I mean, I was just maneuvering myself around that, and it wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard trail ride. I walked, even though it was uphill a little bit. But there was something really real and authentic and not rustic, but I can't think of the other word that brought me back to nothing is perfect, and yet it's all perfect. And that gave me a chance to accept like anything that's going on with me, inside of me, and me, my body, my mental, my physical. I mean, my mental, my physical, my emotional, my spiritual. It's like it's not perfect, but it's perfect for me. And trying
Mhm.
to connect back to who who I am. So I think it was really helpful to go to the rustic part, to the forest part, to see the trees and the greggily ground and the weeds with the the beautiful fawn and foliage all around
So
me. And
what I'm really noticing too, as you're saying this, and like, especially like you have to walk a path. We rely on our feet to get us anywhere, but it required a lot more intentionality and
mhm,
awareness for the space you're in and how you're navigating it. Even though, like, there is this like destination you're getting to with the trolls and getting to see them along the path, and you're getting to learn about that particular like art exhibit that they were doing. But also, because I went along that path with you for part of the time, and it was like you have to be really, really intentional about where you step and what path you take, because there are a lot of different paths you take. So there was no like meandering. It was like, I'm stepping here, not on a rock, over this route. And whereas I started in the gardens, I spent most of my time in the gardens, which was beautiful, but there are these clear aisles and like the plots of flowers or the plots of um, vegetables and stuff like that. They're all separated or in their own kind of enclosure, or the edge is surrounded by bushes, so it's like I could just meander around and like not have to think about that path I'm taking, but notice what's around me as much. And like, especially very specifically, like I'm looking at the blooms of the flowers, I'm looking at the bees that are like in like gathering the pollen, which was actually so fun. Like the little tiny things, rather than like, where am I stepping? How am I a part of this whole path? Like I got to just like project my own thoughts. Like there are a lot more thoughts going on in my head as I'm navigating this through people too, because we're not all kind of, you know, intentionally walking. We're just walking. And it's so interesting, that difference in experiences just in those different like spaces within the estate.
exactly. And how wonderful to have both of them. Because the peppering of the trolls in the forest area wasn't just, oh, here's a troll. And they were big, giant trolls, I mean bigger than humans, and well put together. Just I thought they were nicely constructed, but they had little placards that said, my name is Izzy something something, and then it talked about who Izzy was, and they were all connected to Mother Earth. One was I can hear, all the things. I can hear what Mother Earth is saying. I can hear the footsteps. It's like, ooh. And then what it does is it makes you pause to go, what do I hear? What do I hear? And get quiet. So it was kind of instructional and invitational as I was going through that. And while I love the gardens because they're so absolutely beautiful, for all my senses. I think I really enjoyed the forest festival.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to really have both, right? Because you got to kind of explore both sides of it. I do want to talk about our event as it is the experience with cancer and how it relates to the cancer journey. Because everyone who participated was at different points in their cancer journey. And they so we started with the walk. Everyone kind of goes on their own. We gave everyone guided visualizations. We gave them some journal prompts. If they didn't have some sort of journal, we made sure they had it. We wanted to make sure everyone was prepared. But really, it started with this like reflective experience and just like immersing yourself in it. And so sometimes there are people who would stop and sit on a bench and journal for a while, or you just walk through the whole thing. And we ended by all coming together, having like a community picnic and talking about what that experience was like for us. So as we were reflecting, it's like we got to express not only what the impact of this entire experience had on us in the moment, but how it informed some people on their cancer journeys and how it allowed people to just have time for themselves. And that's something that a lot of people don't let themselves have on a cancer journey. It's almost like, oh, I'm in treatment. That's enough for me. Like, that's enough focus
Hmm.
on me. Like, what about everyone else? And like, what else needs to happen outside myself rather than, um, actually, I'm tired. And cancer makes me more tired. And this, like, I really need this time and space for myself to focus on myself in a way that maybe feels a little bit selfish, but it feeds my soul.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought that it was lovely that we started with the separate walk. And people did it however they wanted to, whenever they, it's like you start where you want. You could sit through the whole thing. You don't have to actually walk. And I think that it was this the reflections that they said, now I don't have to think about it because I know what the reflections were, is that it gave them a chance to really connect with themselves in the craziness of their lives. And that's really our intention, was to be away from the hustle and the bustle of every day and to just have a place of solace to go in and be with yourself in nature, in beauty, in surroundings that aren't demanding anything of you, but absolutely could feed you if that's how you interact with nature. And what I noticed is everyone got to figure out, what do I need? What do I want? It's like they pause long enough for those needs and wants to show up. And then when we gathered in our communal picnic, it was like, wow, and this is what's going on with me. And and because everybody was associated with cancer, whether it was as a caregiver or as a survivor thriver, that or patient even, they could express themselves and know that everybody else got them.
Yes,
And then
yes,
they start talking about their passion that started coming out. And then this person said, yes, and mine too. And then there was commonalities. And then the energy of everything just started expanding. And the
right.
connections were getting deeper. And it was like, not only were you seen by yourself, but you were seen by others who really got you. And then it was like, well, then we should collaborate together. I mean, it was like almost magical,
Yes. No,
almost
I
magical.
completely agree. And it's so nice that everyone got their own space to center in. And then I completely agree. The way that we all came together, um, to me, really shows too that while cancer can be quite physically depleting, what I find with a lot of people who come to us is that it actually reinvigorates their passion and how they live their lives and how they feed their souls and the things that they love. And then they get to share it and feel heard, seen, heard, and gotten by this group that has experienced similar experiences, but everyone's still unique in their story. And it's not a level of competition of like, I'm doing this. Well, if you're doing that, I can't do that. It's more like we're both doing similar things. We don't think it should be recreating the wheel every time, which was definitely a topic of conversation for us. And so then it invited collaboration and understanding and championing people who are using the experience to improve the experiences of everyone else who is in the cancer community as a patient, thriver, survivor, and caregiver. which is like exactly what we do at the Cancer Journey too. So it's like important for us to want to continue to bring together everyone in the cancer community, regardless of what your status is, um, and to celebrate the journey that you're on, what you've learned from it, know that we're still continuing to grow and we still have impact. No matter how long you have on this earth, you still have impact. You're here now, and that passion really like you see the fire in people as they're like, I'm going to do something about this and I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Yeah, that urgency that often comes with, okay, cancer smacks me in the face, and I know that I have a limited amount of time on this planet. So how do I want to live that? What I really loved is the structure that we put together, because we can all go to a park and take a walk. But it's not the same when you get to do that solo and then you come back to a safe, not prepared group, but there's this group with us holding the space. So there was structure. And so all they had to do was show up with themselves. And then they went off and then they knew they had to come back at a certain time. And we were there with bounty. I love the picnic because it's like, here's bounty, accept whatever you want. And then the conversations just start flowing. It was, even if you are shy by nature, or introvert, it's so healing to hear others' stories, and it actually spurs your willingness to share. And in that sharing, we have a phrase that we say at CJI a lot is there's magic in the telling, because it doesn't necessarily only help you by saying it. It helps everybody. It might be like, yes, that's what I was thinking exactly, but I couldn't put it into words. Or it's like, I'm not alone. Somebody else thinks the same way, or a different way of seeing it. It's so expansive and connecting. It was
Yes.
when I reflect back on this, it's like we're going to do this again next year. I think we should do it every year at the same place, because it lends itself to a different experience every time. But oh, I just
I also,
delight.
yes, I mean, it was a beautiful event. And I also want to say the same way that you said, you can take a walk in the park by yourself and that's all well and good. And then but it was beautiful to have this also community picnic part that came after. But the same way, vice versa. Like you could have a community meal and just talk and talk and talk. But I think that it was so important that it was actually preceded by this walk to get centered, because I mean, in the world we live in, again, there's this like rush, and I think it's so easy to say, think before you speak. Do we give ourselves that time? No. When you're like, okay, let's go, there needs to be an answer, and we're moving, and we're just going to keep talking. But we actually, so much more often than we think, need like a long moment to just be and reflect and not have to do and take action and make things happen. Like it is making something happen for you. And it's actually so settling and grounding to have that time to yourself, and to it allows you to reflect back on what your body, your heart, your soul, your mind really need, and inspire you more, like inspire yourself really. And so then you can take yourself in that space that started here and bring it to that community picnic. And also it allows you to, like, if someone's less, like, more on that shy side, as you were saying, they're more likely to have time to really collect their thoughts. Or like if someone who considers themselves like an introvert, sometimes it's like they just need time and space and that like recharge moment to get really like grounded and to get comfortable and feel safe before they can go into this big group. Because sometimes when you're in a group and you're like talking with them, the people who consider themselves extroverts or the people who are ready to talk, sometimes they can take over the room, for lack of a better way of saying that. And it's not a bad thing. But when you have someone who's a little bit more shy and not ready to just like jump in and speak their mind loudly to everyone else who's in the group, um, it can feel overwhelming. So it's like if you have a moment to kind of collect yourself and know what you really want to say and what's really important to you in that moment, to be able to share that with the group becomes a lot less intimidating.
Right. And so what I think we're saying is when you're on a cancer journey or even done with a cancer journey and you're trying to re-enter into your new reality, that's what we call the new normal because we're never normal. It's reality and reality. That it is good to reconnect with yourself in a situation where it's like, okay, you take a certain amount of time, you let yourself have that whole permission thing. And then coming back to now I want to share that. And then finding a safe community. Cancer Journey Institute was always a safe community if you'd like to join us to share some of your revelations, to share some of your insights. That is so important through a cancer journey and beyond because we're not solo beings. So, I mean, I know if you're going, I missed Earth and Essence and I have to wait till next year. How do I do that now? Is you can ask us for some writing prompts or some meditation prompts if that will help you, because it does give you direction on staying with yourself versus, oh, I wonder how that flower germinates, which is totally fine. But now we're out there again, and we're so much out there in life that we want to keep bringing you back to in here, your essence and your connection to Earth, because there's so much information that Mother Earth has to share with us. When I do my Pesh, so physically, I'm a 4.25, spirit 4.4, hope 4.45, and my word is connected. Your turn.
So I just want to start my takeaway by echoing exactly as you said that if you're sad that you missed Earth and Essence, but you're interested in wanting to join us for the next one, let us know. We can't create something unless we know you want it, and so tell us what you want, what you need, and we'll figure out like what we have that's best for you. But we will be doing this event again. And it really is a nice invitation because it can be so hard to create that space for yourself. So that's a big part of my takeaway is that it's so hard to create this space for yourself and to have community without feeling like, you're pulling teeth trying to get people to like join you. So this is somewhere that's safe. It's really easy and it's already structured for you. So all you really have to do is just show up and it's really in service of you and whatever you need, because we're not going to ask you to do anything that you're uncomfortable with. And um, this event is it feels so good. And it feels so good to kind of get back to that like natural rhythm, as we said, and give yourself a moment to tune in with your cancer and how it's landing with you now, wherever you are along your cancer journey. And just be with it and just see whatever emotions come up and be able to explore that in a safe place with people who are here holding you, happy, sad, upset, any of that. We're really good at holding that container for emotions without making you feel like you have to get out of it and giving you an opportunity to express it, which is so important to that shift. My Pesh is physically, I'm a 4.25. Emotionally, I'm a 4.4. Spiritually, I am a 4.3. And my hope is a 4.25. And my word is grounded. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next week with a new episode.
Have a lovely rest of your day. And remember, you're more powerful than you realize.